got one mama, you only got one pa.
My name's Agnes Wright, and I was born and raised in Nairobi, Kenya.
No matter who you are, you can go the whole world over. Every city has its dawn, but everybody living has one place where he was born. And mine is Kenya, so warm and wild and free. You'll always stay with me here in my heart. My land is Kenya, right from your highlands to the sea. You'll always stay.
12 years ago, I decided to leave my home country and come to the US. I left everything behind. I left the city that I loved, left my friends, I left my family, and I left my life. And I decided to come to the great United States of America in search of that great adventure. When I first got here, I was looking for the big city lights, the dazzling lifestyle, just, what you expect to find in New York, Chicago, Las Vegas, Hollywood, and just that big city life. Instead, I came to Oklahoma. I was quite stunned to find myself in the Midwest of the United States because I didn't imagine what it was going to look like. I thought it was going to be a big city, and instead I was surrounded by farms and just very low population, very few people around, and traffic that was, good traffic. Quaint suburbs, and really the friendliest people you did see. So it turned out to be a good place to land. When I first got here, I realized people don't hardly know anything about Kenya. And it surprised me, and I wondered why. So I wanted to know exactly why people think so negatively about Kenya or other African countries, and I decided to go on a information hunting spree. So it was quite interesting. It's sad to find out that people don't know anything about Kenya and where Kenya was. They didn't know anything about the food, the culture, the people, what the people like to do for fun. If there's any fashion of any kind, or if people played any sports, or what the kids did for fun. It was interesting to find out some of the things. So right now I'm in OCCC and I'm going to be walking around and trying to see if I can find anybody who knows anything about Kenya. It looks like it's pretty busy. Seems like there's lots of people here. So let's see who we can talk to and see if we can find anything or anybody who knows anything about Kenya. Hey guys, I just wanted to ask you a few questions if that's okay with you. Yeah, okay, good. The first question is going to be, what do you guys know about Kenya?
About Kenya, I know it's in Africa, but I don't really know nothing else about it besides that.
I heard about Kenya too, and I heard it's a beautiful place.
Okay, I just want to find out, do you know where Kenya is?
What I know about Kenya, I know that it's in Africa. That's about it, just that it's in Africa.
Where in Africa do you think Kenya is on the map? I found out just through talking with different people. When we talk and say, hey, where you from? Where you from? And each person will be from somewhere different because there's a huge international community here. And when I'd say Kenya, most people would go, where? Where's Kenya?
I don't know where Kenya is at all.
I don't know exactly where. I just know it's in Africa.
Just know it's in Africa.
In Africa.
In Africa. Pretty much what he said. I just know it's in Africa, and that's about it.
And then kind of try and figure it out. So when I'd say it's on the eastern coast of Africa, they'd be confused. Oh, is that near Nigeria or Ghana?
Is it in West Africa?
I just want to ask you guys, what do you know about Kenya? Okay, does anyone know where it is?
A lower middle on the left hand, on the right hand side. Right next to Uganda, because my friend, he married his wife from Uganda. So I know a little bit.
I haven't really heard much about Kenya.
I've heard a bit, but I just heard that it's in Africa, and I'm not sure what it's about. What about you, Anita?
I think it might be Madagascar. I'm not sure.
Or is that near South Africa? And I'd say no, it's on the eastern coast of Africa. It's a country, separate entity. It's a nation on its own, with its own currency, its own government, its own president. We're a separate nation from all the other countries in Africa. Africa's just a continent. Okay, so tell me, what do you think the people in Kenya do for fun?
I'm not sure. Maybe I don't know if they're run by a dictator. I'm pretty sure they can't have much fun.
That's a hard one.
All right, what about the kids? What do you think they do for fun?
Most of them go to school. I don't know.
Are they going through an education crisis at all, with kids having trouble getting to school?
I'm sure they have school type atmospheres. Probably nothing as sophisticated as of what we have here at this school.
Teenagers, I don't know, probably do dance rituals or something.
I don't know. I don't know any teenagers.
Fashion. The first thing that I think about fashion in Africa would be the long shirts, dresses. I don't know what they're actually called. So stuff that looks tribal attire. You know what I mean?
Then maybe they're not allowed to wear makeup, and sometimes us girls need to wear makeup to feel a little better about ourselves sometimes. And our hair, and maybe they don't have the freedom to do that. Hopefully one day they do.
Hard to mass produce these houses.
Yeah, you can't mass produce houses as easily.
Yeah.
Easy anyway.
Yeah, but
they won't exactly have like everything they'll need to be able to build a house. They'll be like completely fully stable. Then like stuff they'll have here to make sure like the house won't like tear down and stuff.
The thing that's very unique that's happening in Nairobi now is the housing market. It's totally exploded. Wherever you go, there's apartments, condos, townhouses. All kinds of housing estates are springing up to meet the demand of the people that want everything now.
I didn't know like how the houses would look. I mean, I knew it was gonna be, you know, I mean, a house is a house, right? So didn't know. I mean, they're different than the houses here, really, because the houses here are made from, you know, like 2x4s and things, and made from sticks and plaster and drywall. But over there, the houses are made of stone and concrete, and, you know, they seem more solid than the ones here. But they're very nice.
So that was quite interesting. I mean, everybody had something different to say. A few people had an idea what Kenya was like. Others were like dumbfounded. As soon as the interview was over, they were like, oh my gosh, I know nothing. So that was great, and I think we'll do more of this and have some more fun. I always wonder who's to blame for all this negative information. I mean, is it the media? Is it the schools? Is it the people for not having any interest? People were shocked to find out that I make regular phone calls to my family and I'm calling them on their cell phones. And one time I remember one girl saying to me, what was that all about? And I said I was talking to my mom. And she said, your mom? I thought your mom's in Africa. And I said, yes, she is. And I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, she called me from her cell phone. And the girl goes, she called you on her cell phone, really? Oh my gosh. So she was really surprised to find out that people in Kenya have cell phones. People really don't know anything. Yeah, it's sad. Very sad.
I do not know much about Kenya. I know it's in Africa. I know that we have a lot of students here, as well as I've met several in Ada that are from Kenya. Other than that, I don't know anything.
For help, I would say for education, they can help with their education so they can learn more about everything as we do over here, and better housing, have better food. They can actually look forward to in the day when they wake up. I wondered whether it was the media that had skewed the perceptions of people in the United States. If you happen to Google Kenya, the only thing you get to see is this negative information from CNN and ABC and NBC. There's never anything great to see or hear.
I wish they weren't living in slums. Freezing cold. It gets cold there, doesn't it? It's not. Is it near the desert? It's in the desert. I don't know. I saw. It didn't look like they're in the desert. I've seen pictures on the internet and books. I've seen movies in Kenya, film documentaries, stuff like that.
People think that Africa is one of two things. They think it's either a desert or it's a jungle. Okay, Nairobi is neither a desert nor a jungle.
Then you come to the tourist advertising. Kenya is definitely one of the most popular tourist destinations in Africa. So you're going to see a lot of advertising related towards tourism.
Imagine spotting a herd of elephants swarming through Amboseli National Park while having Africa's highest mountain, Kilimanjaro, in the background.
That is probably one of the things that could create this problem, people not knowing much about Kenya. And that's what I call the tourist version. I want to take you on a journey, but first, let's find out what else people know about Kenya.
The population of Kenya? Do you want a number? Maybe about 9 million. I can't remember whether it's a big country or a large country, but
maybe 1 million for the, I mean, and that's a big area for 1 million people.
Think about my first trip to Kenya. I don't know that I had too many apprehensions because I had a pretty good tour guide that I was going there with, although I didn't really know what to expect overall. The only things I really knew about Kenya were, you know, mostly things you see about Africa on TV. You know, the wildlife, of course, and the Maasai's, and the poverty and things. So I mean, I knew there was a lot more to it than that, but I really had no idea what to expect. So I just went with an open mind.
I would love to see Kenya. It's just money and time. Yeah. And language barrier.
The other thing was a lot of people thought or still think that we speak African. I don't know where they came up with that idea that we speak African. There's no language called African. People would ask me, how come you speak English? And did you learn that here in the United States? And I said, no. We speak English in Kenya, and it's one of our languages. And it's one of our official languages because we have Swahili, which is a different language. We have 42 other tribal languages that different people speak depending on which part of the country that they come from. So it is interesting trying to explain, yes, we speak English and we speak Swahili. It may not sound like American English because we were a former British protectorate. So our English is similar to the English from England as opposed to the English from the United States.
Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. Hakuna Matata. Ain't no passing craze. It means no worries for the rest of your day.
What about the food? What do you think people eat in Kenya?
I'm sure they do the water buffalo.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure they got chickens. Or a type of chicken. Probably not what we're used to here. It's similar. Because, you know, different part of the world, the different types of species.
You have like a quesadilla here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have stuff like that with more vegetables.
Well,
and it's not tortilla per se, but it's...
Do they eat pork?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of.
And they probably grow their own vegetables, right?
Vegetables and stuff that they eat, which a lot of I've never heard of.
I'd say our food is mainly organic food. A lot of people have little gardens behind their houses or in front of their houses, depending on how big your yard is. And people grow their vegetables, their onions, tomatoes, carrots, potatoes. I remember when we were growing up, my parents made sure that we had organic everything in our yard. And my mom, up till today, grows her corn, her beans, her kale, cabbage. So she has strawberries now, passion fruit. She has huge avocado trees, banana trees. Let me see what else. She has passion fruit. I mean, she even keeps chicken. So a lot of people still want to maintain the traditional values and grow your own food and not necessarily have to walk to the supermarket to go get everything. So that's one major difference. When I first met my husband, it was very interesting because I wanted to know where I was from and I would tell him, and we played this kind of hide and seek game for a long time, and finally I told him I was from Kenya and he said, oh my goodness, that's awesome, and he was all so excited about it. And after dating and getting married, we got married within a very short time. And I said to him, are you sure? You sure you want to marry this girl from Kenya? And he was like, yeah, of course I'm sure. And he was very confident. He was a different species. He was a different kind of guy. And maybe that's why I married him. Who knows? Right after we got married, we started planning to go to Kenya because I said, hey, you know, you got to meet my family. we cannot get married and you have no idea who my family is. So we planned, before you know it, he was telling me he was ready.
I already had my passport because I knew we were going to go at some point, but obviously you had to get a passport. Then we had to mail the passport to the Kenyan embassy and get a visa so I can go. Then, we packed like we're going away on a long trip. We booked a flight. We got on a plane and we went.
Kenya is a country situated on the eastern coast of Africa, and it's right there on the Indian Ocean, and it lies across the equator. This allows for a beautiful tropical climate, just like what you'd expect to see in the Caribbean islands. Look out for the beautiful sun-kissed beaches along the coast. And then there's a huge Maasai Mara National Park, which boasts of wildlife that attracts tourists from around the world, making Kenya the #1 safari destination in all of Africa. At any of the park resorts, you can enjoy a magical sunset and the relaxing romantic atmosphere. You can also expect entertainment from the Maasai, a nomadic group that still practices their ancient dances and customs. They are a joy to watch.
Well, when we first landed in Kenya, we were going there with my wife was from Kenya, and my parents came along too because we were having another wedding over there, and so it was the four of us, and we landed in Nairobi at Jomo Kenyatta Airport. We went for a ride. We went through town, through Nairobi City to where her parents stay, which was at the time maybe 45 minutes drive. It was really nice because we got to see the city, all the buildings, and I had no idea what to expect of Nairobi, so it was really interesting to see the buildings and the traffic and all the people.
Did you know that Kenya has a population of 45 million people, and it's still growing? Nairobi, the capital city, has a population of over 3 million residents. With a population this big, things are bound to get quite interesting. I mean, look at what you get between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Traffic, and even more traffic. You'd think you're in Chicago, LA, or New York, right? If you were to go there now with no knowledge of the fact that there's 3 million people in Nairobi, you're going to get astounded. There is so much traffic. You'd better plan for probably 3-hour delay if you're going somewhere. So if you want to be somewhere at 10, leave your house at 7:30 because it will take you that long to get to your destination.
The weather in Kenya is amazing. It's very mild. Temperatures are pretty consistent year round. I know they've got rainy season and they've got some hotter months and colder months, but basically for somebody from the US where the temperatures change so drastically season to season, you won't really notice much of a difference in the temperatures in Kenya.
What I love about living in Kenya is the fact that the weather is consistent. We don't have any seasonal weather. We don't have the winter, summer, spring, autumn. Nairobi is highly elevated, so we get a cool breeze coming in from the ocean. By the time it gets to the high elevation, it's cool. and we have sunshine most of the time.
Maybe highs in the 80s, lows in the 50s or in the upper 50s or lower 60s. That's pretty much year round in Nairobi.
And you don't hardly ever need a heavy coat or a scarf or mittens, any of that. You don't have to worry about bringing heavy gear because we do not have winter.
If you get down to Mombasa, it can be hotter there, but still not crazy hot. Not like Houston or even Oklahoma City.
So the weather is number one thing for me.
Almost exactly like Hawaii. Almost exactly like Hawaii temperatures. Yeah.
And the fact that people sit outside most of the time when they socialize or when they're eating or they're hanging out, it's always an outdoor affair. The things that I miss about Kenya is the laid-back attitude. Everybody's just kind of like, what time does it start? Oh, 2 p.m. All right, I'll get there. We're kind of just laid back.
About 32% of the population is between the age of 25 and 50 years old. So you can expect a vibrant social scene. You can go shopping, restaurants, there's fashion, activities like cycling. Eating out is really a big thing. Most people prefer being outdoors for fun and leisure. And don't forget the local music scene. It's huge, with music from all kinds of genres, R&B, hip-hop, blues, all mixed up with cultural beats to get you dancing all night long.
A cool thing that we have in Kenya is food. Now remember, we have 42 tribes in Kenya, so there's food from each one of these communities. But it's not just the local food that you can find. You can find Japanese food, you can find Mexican, Italian, Spanish, British food, of course, Indian. We have food from all over the world, and that's what makes Nairobi a cosmopolitan place. Of course, the culture is influenced by the different people that live in Kenya. And for instance, one of the big things that I love is tea time. We have the 10 o'clock tea and the 4 o'clock tea, just like the Brits do. They were in Kenya for many years and they left that and everybody took it up. And now wherever you go, there's tea time. You go visit a friend, it's tea time. If you go into town, it's tea time. So that's just one of the things that I miss, just the whole concept of sitting down and having a beautiful cup of tea with a sandwich, or mandazi, which is a lovely pastry that we make. It looks like a donut. Then we have the samosa with triangular meat-filled pastry. Oh, it's delicious. Internet, everybody has access to information, and that information is available 24/7. So I keep telling anybody that I find, hey, check out the internet. And I urge them to go on Facebook and find Kenyan organizations. Simply type Kenya newspaper or Kenya music, or Kenya food, Kenya culture, and you would find anything and everything you needed to know. And I love Pinterest, I love Twitter, I love Instagram. Everybody's on there now and just sharing their lives, sharing their stories, sharing their experiences. And I just urge everybody that I meet now to go online and check it out. People want to know what's cool about Kenya, and I tell them, well, there's lots of things to do if ever you're in Kenya.
Are you gonna pay for food and housing and everything? Everything? Then yeah, I would leave my life here and go right now.
Okay, so you'd go? Alright, that's pretty cool.
Will you fly me out to Kenya then? Okay.
What about you? Would you go?
Well, Kenya's a nice place to travel. I hear it's good weather there.
I heard that too.
Great.
A ticket to Kenya? Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm always up for traveling, so yeah, I think somewhere new that I have no idea about would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I would go definitely, because I mean, I like to go to new places and visit new cities, towns, to live out the country for a while and just explore new things. Would be definitely worth it.
It's something that I would be more than willing to learn about, to broaden my horizon as far as how the world goes.
I think I want to learn more about Kenya too, and a lot of other countries in Africa too. I feel like I don't know as much as I should, and I think it'd be really fun to learn more.
To learn more things about Kenya.
I mean, probably if I go to Kenya, because I don't know people in Kenya, but if I go to Ghana or Cameroon, I wouldn't be scared. A lot of people say if you go there, you're not going to never want to come back, because that's how nice it is and how fun it is.
Experience the culture, since I don't know that much about it. I love discovering new culture, and I just probably want to explore the land, honestly. It's probably really beautiful there in Kenya.
I recommend that you hook up with a local and get to see the country and get to see different towns and get to taste different foods. Let them take you to the restaurants that they love to go to. Let them show you around the city. Let them take you to different spots, museums, restaurants, just the why, go for a swim, do whatever you feel like you can, but you need a local to hook you up. And I recommend that you take a safari either to the national park or go down to the beach and enjoy yourself. Yep. That's right. If you've never been to Kenya, if you've ever thought of going to Kenya, you need to go take a trip there. It's so beautiful. There's so many things that you can do. The culture is awesome. The people are so welcoming. And if you get there, I promise you, you're going to have the trip of a lifetime.